To close out a year of your life trying to answer one of life's most basic questions. Exactly how high can elephant toothpaste actually be launched into space? Now, if this looks sort of familiar, it's because this isn't my first attempt.
No, it's a new video.
Last year, my buddy Fletcher and I were here with this monster of a flask, but with one critical oversight.
Okay, Chess,
we didn't make the floor stiff enough because I just didn't consider the forces would be so high, they'd lift a 1-ton structure 5 feet into the air. And so while that attempt did yield a new Guinness World Record of 60 feet, I couldn't stop thinking about just how high it could have gone if only all that stuff that came out of the bottom was actually forced to come out through the top. Like, what would happen if I spent the year designing and building something that weighed 5 tons and was basically bomb-proof? And then what if we could just go on to make the world's most epic surprise party by building a massive slip-and-slide skateboard ramp, along with the 26 million Orbeez pool, plus a Devil's Toothpaste explosion 2.5 times bigger than previously? Then the only thing that would be missing would be someone to throw the surprise party for. And that's where my new friend Brody comes in. Now, to understand who Brody is, all you really need to know is that as him and his family were going through an incredibly difficult time in their lives, as he narrowly fought through his battle against blood cancer for 3 years, Brody used his one and only Make-A-Wish chance to buy a brand new ATV for another kid with cancer he didn't even know when he heard that kid had his ATV stolen. By the way, I told my friend Mr. Beast this story, and he had some thoughts on what we should do about this situation. So now we had a plan.
Right. Why even risk the chance that you're gonna lose energy when it's going to boom to the side when you go underground instead, and there's like none because there's too much weight and pressure on the sides.
Definitely deserved the world's most epic surprise party. It was time to return to my buddy Dale's walnut farm in the small town of Gridley, California, and get to work. And while I'd love to take credit for single-handedly digging out the entire Orbeez pit, the truth was, as word got out about Brody's story, the good people of Gridley came out to help in droves. So Arnie, who's been operating a backhoe for 60 years, volunteered to dig the Orbeez pool, while Dave, the town master carpenter, started working on the skateboard ramp. I even harnessed some child labor to prep the Devil's Toothpaste troughs, although it sort of backfired when they began to protest against their harsh working conditions. Which just left my nemesis, the giant elephant's toothpaste flask. And this time, I was taking no chances, and so for the
painting on the wood with your hand, that sounds like
which would be attached to the flask with 3/4-inch bolts with a total clamping force of 80 tons. And then instead of a structure made of 2x4s, the plan was to use 5 tons of steel, all fused together by the town welder Jeff. On top of that, we designed the flask.
My prediction is that it'll still find a way to break it.
Was a 20-second build montage to get it all done.
It'll still break. That's my prediction. Somehow.
And so as the party construction continued on for several days in the 105-degree heat, let me take a moment to try and debunk a myth about elephant toothpaste floating around on the internet. There are some wildly popular videos on YouTube, some with over 30 million views and hundreds of thousands of likes, which demonstrate that when you simply add a bunch of soda to some Orbeez and then create a Mentos Sprite solution and pour it over the top, you get this. Which is pretty impressive.
Look at that.
This also works with Mentos. Why didn't Mark Rober tell us?
Why does that look fake for some reason?
Break his record.
True.
Now I had a slightly different hypothesis, which was that these guys were faking the science and lying to people for YouTube views. So as firm believers in the scientific method, Science Bob and I tested that.
Oh, it is.
And as it turns out, if you follow their exact methodology, then combine the mixtures and run real fast, exactly nothing happens. And even if you don't trust our demonstration, well then you're gonna have to explain how the balloon shadow somehow stops right here at the edge of the hole, and where these orange globs are splashing up from, and how the hole itself completely changes shape from this frame to this one once they've removed their layer mask. The way they actually did that is the same way elephant toothpaste is always made, and that's to mix the correct amounts of hydrogen peroxide, soap, and food coloring. Then you just add a catalyst, like potassium iodide. And in preparation for this year's party, we also played around with the Devil's Toothpaste formula we discovered last year.
But why would they lie about it? I don't get it. What's the point of lying if they get the same results? If for views, because people can make it at home.
Elephant's toothpaste, and this is Devil's Toothpaste. It reacts
because people can make it at home. So it's like, I can do this at home. I'm gonna watch this.
Even if you are, for example, wearing some very nice protective gloves. And so back in Gridley, with Brody's arrival slated for the next morning, the afternoon turned into the evening as the feverish pace of work continued late for the 3rd night in a row. If this dang mega flask somehow bested me again, at least I could console myself in the fact that it wouldn't be from lack of effort. And so when morning
I think the reason why Mentos reacts with like the soda odor isn't because the Mentos are like super porous or whatever the fuck, and they have a lot of like right. And with the thing, it does
a day filled with medical tests.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mentos.
Fletcher and his incredible hair also came back out.
A lot of reaction sites for the fucking.
And I just want to preemptively say, I know I'm quite possibly the world's suckiest actor.
Hello, I'm Dr. Fletcher. We got a lot of stuff to look at, tests. Because today actually isn't a doctor appointment at all.
And while I think I'm being all tricky here, he later said it out with me as soon as he heard my terrible doctor accent.
What up, buddy? I actually brought someone to help us out today, too. This is Fletcher. Fletcher here. He was with us last year. We did a big party. So today we're going to do another party, and it's going to be fun. You brought someone with you? Gavin. Gavin. Let's go meet Gavin. How's it going, buddy?
I saw you when I was like 6. I've known you for so long.
Oh, this is... Oh, thank you.
Guys, I'm gonna see this part just because.
And that's Isla.
Guys, I want to just see the thing. I guess, listen. Guys, don't get mad at me, okay, guys? Guys, cool party, guys. It's just, yeah, listen, don't get mad at me, okay?
Last year,
I should watch the video.
It on the top because it reacts so fast, the catalyst wouldn't even make it to the bottom before it was launched out. So each trough that contained the mixture of the hydrogen peroxide, soap, and food coloring basically has a massive syringe attached to the side that contains the catalyst. Then we put a big fat pressurized air tank here, so when you open this butterfly valve, the air would rush into this chamber, thereby sliding the piston over and causing everything to mix really well. And as you can see in real life, this happens pretty fast.
Okay.
And the second is you might notice it looks like one of the troughs already kind of went off. And the truth is, when I walked up, things look like this. We tested for so many different things to prepare for this, but one thing we didn't think to test was if the food coloring manufacturer added some new ingredient only to the purple color, so now it randomly reacts with hydrogen peroxide all on its own. So after a bit of leaf blowing, we were ready to power through, even if we did lose 2 of our 6 troughs to that little mishap.
But why?
Here we go.
But why though? Oh, that's kind of cool. That's really cool.
You can't even see it.
Now clean it. Man, this chat, dude. Okay, guys, listen. Start with the bat chest spam Andes. Okay, not everything is bat chest. Chill out, dude. Guys, bat chest is bat chest now these days. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Check it out. Yes! Oh my goodness. Oh, you can feel the heat.
Ooh, it's hot.
Fletcher, we have a camera. Go get the cameras.
Where are they?
They're right in the middle.
I got it.
Why did they make this in front of the house? Of all places, whenever.
So while I helped clean up like a bona fide Ghostbuster, we had to get all hands on deck to prepare for the grand finale mega flask. Like last year, the idea was to start the reaction by having these troughs dump the catalyst into the hydrogen peroxide pool below. So
That's
chemicals had to be
slow,
loaded in super carefully because even if a small amount splashed out prematurely, we'd have an even more disastrous situation on our hands than with the purple food coloring. But Brody still had no idea that was coming, so we distracted him with a different surprise first, in the form of some quality time in 26 million orgies. Our engineering abilities and dump the troughs.
Wait, already?
To get Brody a day, it was really only it spread at the flask was in its and while we could have stayed there for a few more hours, soon enough we got the message that the flask was in its final preparations, so we all headed back over. And word apparently had spread at this point, so quite a crowd had gathered, including the mayor of Gridley. So the pressure was really on for me to finally avenge that L from last year and to get Brody a dang world record.
Nice, man.
Look at this. Huh?
Hi, YouTube.
And so with that, all that was left now was to place all our hopes and dreams on
It's
our
still gonna
engineering
break it
abilities
somehow.
and dump the troughs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, that's crazy though, damn. That's pretty crazy. But why? Just because I think it's because the first time they did it, like the machine broke, so it didn't go like as high as it could have.
We actually had a pressure sensor in the flask, and it turns out the force pushing all the elephant toothpaste out the top is about 50 times the force you feel when pushing against a fully inflated football.
What if you were to sit on the hole before it did that? Would you get blasted in the air?
Oh my god! Did you still know?
Probably just kind of die, right?
That was so cool. The mannequin's still there.
Wow. Oh, look at that. It's like a volcano.
Whoa!
See, it's still like barfing out the
Come on.
top.
Oh my gosh.
Was that better than going to the doctor's office? Yeah. Look how far over it went. Wow. The flask stay together. You got me once.
Okay.
Elephant's toothpaste. You don't get me twice.
And in fact, when you do a side-by-side comparison of the max height from last year to this year, I'm happy to report we absolutely destroyed the previous record by nearly a factor of 5, rising to the height of a 25-story building at 250 feet. And so with a new Guinness World Record under his belt, I still had one grand final surprise for Brody. So back at the house, while Science Bob distracted the crowd with liquid
didn't
nitrogen
try to
powered
beat that
exploding
record, though?
watermelons and trash can rockets,
Some of these world records, like
nearly taking out our drone pilot, Nurk, in
Who
the
is even trying to beat
process, I called up a friend of mine.
What up, buddy?
Hi. What up, Mr. Beast? This is my friend
Okay.
Brody. We've been
guys, I just want to watch the thing explode or whatever. All right, that was it.